Hello everybody, my name is Lynette and this is Maple and welcome to our garden. It is October 27th, 2024. It's a rather chilly, gloomy day here in upstate New York. Seems like just yesterday we were putting up the Halloween decorations and in less than a week we're going to be taking them down and starting to think about Christmas. Not the wreaths or any other decorations, but definitely putting the lights on the shrubs because I hate putting lights on in the cold. But before I even start thinking about Christmas, I have lots of projects to get done in the garden. October is a really hectic time in the garden for me. There is so much that needs to be done before the snow flies. And unfortunately, Mother Nature does not seem to understand that I work a full-time job and I have a very narrow window of opportunity that I can get things done. I had great plans for yesterday. I was going to do so much out there this Saturday, but no, it was so windy you couldn't even get outside. In fact, we lost power for a couple hours because must be a tree came down someplace. Compound that by the fact that the daylight hours are shorter and you can't get outside until at least noon when things thaw, and then it's dark by 6 o'clock. There's hardly any time to get anything done. So I did manage to take some time off this past week in between my daffodil plantings at the schools. I managed to get my tender annuals down in the basement, the things that I wanted to overwinter, such as my ferns and my spider plants. They're all down there, and the coleus cuttings that I took, they're down there under grow lights. I managed to clean out all my flower pots. They're all taken apart and washed and stacked and stored for the winter. And then I also managed to cut back the perennials that are in the garden. That was a major job. That took 3 or 4 hours to get that all done. So I did get the major bit of a lot of work done, but the one thing that has to be done right now is leaves. And leaves are super important to my garden. So let's go talk leaves. I truly believe that I would not have the success that I have in this garden if I did not use leaves. Leaves are Mother Nature's mulch. They keep the moisture in the ground, they prevent weeds from growing, and as they break down, they provide the nutrients that the plants need to survive. In this area, I have mostly maple, oak, and cherry leaves. My preference are the maple and the cherry. The oaks are great leaves. I've used those in the past, but they don't break down quite as well as the others do. I rake all the leaves that we have here on our property, so I gather as much as I can here, but I also have about 5 truckloads of leaves brought in that we spread around on the garden. You're going to bring your leaves in and you're going to tuck them around the plants. You do not put them directly on top. You don't want to smother the plants. What you want to do is just go right around them to kind of tuck them in and give them some insulation for the winter. Can putting leaves down cause a problem? Yes. Sometimes people will have voles, V-O-L-E-S. They are different than moles, M-O-L-E-S. Voles make tunnels and they feed on the roots of plants. Moles, M-O-L-E-S, are more insectivores, so they're going to eat your earthworms and your grubs and things like that. But voles will burrow underneath all of this and they could feast on the roots of your plants during the winter months because they are active all year round. Now, knock on wood, I haven't really had much of a problem. I do have voles, but I haven't had them wipe out huge areas of my garden yet. I may lose a plant here or there, but nothing drastic. And if I do lose a plant, well, that just means it's an opportunity to put something else in. Here's a look at the garden that we did end up mulching. Now this took us 5 hours to do this part of the garden, and this is with the leaves that we had dropped off. The good thing about the leaves that we have dropped off is that they are already chewed up and broken down, so they've gone through a shredder, so they're pretty fine, which helps them break down a little bit more. But I have used straight leaves in the past. They just take a little longer to break down. And a really good tip, if you have an opportunity to get white pine needles and you can sprinkle them on top of the leaves like this, oh my goodness, that looks so fantastic come spring. It looks like a professional mulch job. If you have an area in your garden where you might not be sure what you want to put in, or you've just cleared it out, you can put leaves in that area to keep the weeds out until you decide what you want to do. In this area, I pulled out hydrangeas a few years ago. I wanted to make sure they didn't come back, so I didn't plant anything in here because I didn't want to take the chance on the hydrangeas growing up in between something. I'm sure the hydrangeas are gone now, so I went in this fall and I planted a row of winter berries there because I want to see the pretty berries in the winter time. But I don't want any weeds growing in here, and until I decide exactly what else I want to put in, I need to keep that under control, and that's how I'm using the leaves. I'm just dumping the leaves in here pretty heavy, and that will keep the weeds under control. Anything that comes up will be easy to find, locate, and pull out next spring. Another really good thing about weeds is if you want to start a garden but you don't want to use chemicals to kill off the grass, dumping a pile of leaves there and leaving them for a whole year is an excellent way to do it without using chemicals. Last year we had a whole truckload of leaves dumped here, and we just recently moved them off. And as you can see, all the grass is dead. I could start a new garden in here and it would be just beautiful to work with. I just till it up and plant right in it, and there would be very few leaves. Of course, I'd go back in and put a layer of leaves on as mulch, but this is a great way to start a new bed. And if you want to see what a truckload of leaves looks like, ooh, that's tricky, truckload of leaves, watch till the end of the video. There's a short little montage of them dumping a truckload. As you can see, I still have a lot of leaves that I need to rake up and haul down to use in the garden. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to follow along and see how I make my garden happy. I put together a little musical montage of everything that I've done over the past week. So it's about 30 hours of work condensed down into about a minute and a half. And I'm sorry if this song gets stuck in your head.
This is how I cut back plants, cut back plants, cut back plants. This is how I cut back plants to make my garden happy. This is how we cut the grasses, cut the grasses, cut the grasses. This is how we cut the grasses to make the garden happy. This is how we use the grass, use the grass, use the grass. This is how we use the grass as mulch around daylilies. This is how we empty the pots, empty the pots, empty the pots. This is how we empty the pots to make the garden happy. This is how we wash the pots, wash the pots, wash the pots. This is how we wash the pots to make the garden happy. This is how I blow the leaves, blow the leaves, blow the leaves. This is how I blow the leaves to make the garden happy. This is how I rake the leaves, rake the leaves, rake the leaves. This is how I rake the leaves to make the garden happy. This is how you hurt your back, hurt your back, hurt your back. This is how you hurt your back to make the garden happy. This is how you get more leaves, get more leaves, get more leaves. This is how you get more leaves, 5 more trucks. This is how we move the leaves, move the leaves, move the leaves. This is how we move the leaves to mulch the garden beds and make them happy.